These two.
For how long have we been sitting here saying who's going to be next?
I think we know now.
Like, are we going to get a...
What team you could build around Halland, you know, so it's going to be great watching them develop.
Did Halland just become a World Cup legend? That's the video that we reacted to.
I understand completely this question. The FA Cup will be so sad.
Alan Shearer has watched strikers for 40 years and called him a joke. Peter Schmeichel, a man who spent his career facing the best forwards on earth, said there's never been a player like him. Even Pep Guardiola, a manager who has coached Messi, Suarez, and Aguero, has openly admitted he doesn't fully understand how to explain what Erling Halland does. Not how to stop it, how to explain it. This is a striker who runs a sub-10-second 100 meters, has the frame of a power forward, and finishes like a surgeon. This is why the legends of football keep running out of words for Erling Halland. Erling Haaland wasn't an accident. His father, Alfie Halland, played Premier League football for Nottingham Forest, Leeds, and Manchester City. His mother was a heptathlete, a discipline that demands sprint speed, jumping power, and explosive strength all at once. Genetically, Erling was engineered for exactly this. But genetics alone don't explain a player who, as a teenager playing for Molde in Norway, was already being watched by scouts from across Europe. What set him apart early wasn't flair, it was ruthlessness. While other wonder kids were racking up viral skill move compilations, Halland was racking up goals with almost boring efficiency. Right foot, left foot, headers, tap-ins, screamers. No preference, no weakness to exploit. Then came the Salzburg explosion, a teenager scoring for fun in the Austrian league before announcing himself to the entire footballing world in the Champions League, scoring a hat-trick against Genk in his debut. Legends watching that night weren't seeing potential anymore. They were seeing a finished predator who simply hadn't been given a big enough stage yet. Here's the first thing that leaves pundits speechless. Halland is not supposed to be this fast. At 6 feet 4 inches, carrying real muscle mass, most players his size are built for power, not pace. Sprinters that tall usually sacrifice acceleration for stride length. Halland has both. Data from his time at Borussia Dortmund clocked him hitting speeds north of 36 kilometers per hour in open play, figures that put him in conversation with recognized speedsters half his size. Combine that with a stride so long that a handful of steps can eat up 10 meters of pitch, and you get a striker who can outrun entire backlines in transition, then still arrive at the ball with total control. Rio Ferdinand, one of the most decorated center backs in Premier League history, has said on camera that defending Halland in behind is like trying to defend against someone playing a different sport. That's the first wall legends hit trying to explain him. The eye test says big man, the stopwatch says sprinter, and defenders are left, choosing between two bad options: either respect the pace and get bullied physically, or respect the size and get burned for speed. Speed and size only matter if you can finish. And this is where Halland separates from every athletic freak striker who came before him. His finishing technique is almost aggressively simple. No unnecessary touches, no showing off. The ball arrives, and within a fraction of a second, it's in the net. Analysts who break down his goals frame by frame keep landing on the same conclusion: his body shape at the moment of contact is almost always textbook, whether he's finishing off his stronger foot, his weaker foot, or his head. There's no bias in his game for defenders to exploit. No show him onto his left trick that works twice. Jamie Carragher, breaking down Haaland's movement on Monday Night Football, pointed out something subtle. Halland doesn't just run into space. He runs into the exact patch of grass a cross or through ball is going to arrive in, arriving a split second before the ball, rather than chasing it. That's not raw athleticism. That's spatial anticipation refined to an almost unnatural degree. And it's part of why even experienced defenders describe losing him not through a lack of effort, but through a lack of information. They simply can't predict where he's going next. Football has a long history of wonder kid strikers who burn brightly and fade. What separates Halland is that his numbers, instead of regressing as competition got tougher, kept climbing. At Dortmund, in the brutal physicality of the Bundesliga, he scored at a rate rarely seen in Europe's top 5 leagues. Then he moved to the Premier League, widely considered the most physically demanding, tactically varied league in the world, a league that has humbled prolific scorers from other countries for decades. Halland didn't just adapt. In his debut Premier League season with Manchester City, he broke the all-time single-season goal record in the competition's 38-game era, doing it with games to spare. Legends who played in that league for over a decade, scoring 200-plus goals across entire careers, watched a 22-year-old shatter a benchmark in a single campaign. Numbers like that don't just impress pundits, they unsettle them, because there's no historical comparison that fully applies. Ronaldo had the finishing. Shearer had the physicality. Van Nistelrooy had the movement. Halland has all three simultaneously, which is exactly why so many former strikers, when asked to name a direct comparison, end up shrugging. Pep Guardiola has spent his managerial career building systems where no single player is irreplaceable. Total football descendants where movement and rotation matter more than any individual. Signing Halland was, on paper, a risk to that philosophy. A pure penalty box predator inside a system built around fluidity. Instead, Guardiola adapted his own approach around one player, something he had rarely done in his career. He's spoken publicly about instructing his other attackers to essentially feed Halland rather than force him into their usual passing web. Because trying to make Halland play like a Guardiola forward would waste the one thing no other player at the club could offer: a guaranteed goal threat inside the box. That's a remarkable admission from one of the most tactically stubborn coaches in football history, and it's a direct answer to the video's title. Legends and coaches aren't struggling to explain Halland because he's complicated tactically. They're struggling because he breaks the normal rules of what a team system striker is supposed to be. He's not a product of the system bent to fit him. There's also a psychological dimension pundits keep circling back to. Halland's on-field demeanor is almost eerily calm. After scoring career-defining goals, hat-tricks, Champions League strikes, Premier League records, his reaction is often the same trademark meditation pose, sitting cross-legged on the turf, breathing, as if he expected exactly this outcome. That composure isn't an accident either. It reflects an athlete raised around elite sport who treats scoring goals less like a miracle and more like an expected outcome of correct process, meaning failure doesn't rattle him and success doesn't inflate him. Defenders who've marked him describe an opponent who shows almost no emotional tell, no frustration to exploit, no hot-headedness to bait. For a generation of legends who built their careers partly on reading an opponent's emotional state, knowing when a striker was rattled, tired, or overconfident, Halland offers almost nothing to read. That blankness is, in its own way, one more layer of the puzzle nobody's fully solved. Bring it all together, and the answer to the video's question becomes clear. Legends can't fully explain Halland because he doesn't fit neatly into any of the boxes football punditry has relied on for decades. He's too fast to be a target man, too physical to be a pure sprinter, too clinical to be dismissed as an athletic project, and too mentally composed to be rattled into mistakes. Every framework commentators reach for, he's a big man who scores tap-ins, he's all pace, no touch, wait until a real league tests him, has been individually and repeatedly disproven by his own performances. What's left isn't really an explanation, it's closer to an admission that football may have produced a genuine outlier. A player whose combination of traits hasn't existed in this exact configuration before. And the sport's greatest names are still, in real time, figuring out the vocabulary to describe him. Erling Halland isn't unexplainable because nobody's tried. He's unexplainable because he keeps rewriting the answer every single season. Let me know in the comments, what's the Halland stat or moment that shocked you the most? And if you want more breakdowns like this, subscribe, because there are plenty more football legends left to cover.